My name is Rosina. I'm a banker, I'm a biker, an event planner. I let one out. Salsa dancer. Let's go again, don't worry. Hello, once again, this is your girl Salsarozie, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I've been serving you all the hottest stuff day in, day out. Today, what I'm going to discuss is really important. Simply put, what are some of the things you should not do on the first date? You have that boy, you have that girl. Finally, you have your dream guy, you want to go on a first date. What are some of the things you absolutely should not do on that first date? Now, stay with me while we delve right into it. Number one, never talk about your exes on the first date. Now, usually when you feel you've had a bad ex-boyfriend or girlfriend who has treated you unfairly, there's a tendency to want to sort of like tell the partner you're with how you were mistreated. I don't know whether you're looking for victim points, but sometimes it's a turn off because in the beginning you might seem interested to know you're such a lovely person, you're such a beautiful person. How can someone do this to you? But half the time they are listening in on you, picking out or maybe how you're so good at complaining about everything. And on hindsight, they might be thinking, maybe you are the problem. And how long is it going to take for you to start complaining about them? So when you have a first date, the first date is supposed to actually get to know each other, get to spend time with each other. Avoid bringing your ex into the equation, especially on the first date. Number two, what should you not do on a first date? Especially when it has to do with going to a restaurant or going to a place you have to eat. Don't think that you have free food. Don't give yourself so much food that you can eat. So, for instance, if you have to go for a buffet or something like that, when you have a plate, put in the plate exactly what you can finish. Never take too much than you can actually consume. Now, closely related to that is that whilst you're eating, you need to be very careful how you eat. Don't eat too quickly. Don't eat too rash. Be very careful about things like eating with both hands, your hands in the plate, everything in the plate, being messy all over the place. And watch it. Some of us, especially with me, I have that problem. I burp a lot. So if you know that you're somebody who burps a lot, especially on a first date, be very careful what you take in. Avoid sodas, avoid things that would make you burp. Be very intentional about what you take in, how you eat, because your eating manners tells a lot about you. It tells a lot about how organized you are, how critical you are. Don't think that, I want him to know me. I want him to know that I'm used to sitting on the floor with my legs wide open with my two fingers digging into the plate. Sometimes when you do things like that, it prevents them from knowing the real gem inside of you. These are just simple put-offs. Another thing you also need to avoid on the first date is talking about your financial problems. The first date is for getting to know me, getting to know you. It is not the time to talk about your rent advance that is due, your school fees that is due, the fact that you found it difficult getting here with an Uber, you had to take church or public transport and drop off at 5, 6, 7 different places before making it to the date. Once you start talking about your financial problems, be it genuine, immediately you scream gold digger. Immediately you scream someone who is just looking out for their financial gain. And this actually goes both ways. So when you have a first date, avoid talking about your financial issues. You should come in prepared. You should come in as somebody who knows who they're about, who knows what they're about, and is their own person. So avoid talking about your financial problems. Sometimes it's very tempting when the other party you are dating seems like a big shot. But please, avoid talking about your financial issues on the first date. Next, not too far from this, especially this has to do with the woman. Avoid insisting that your date needs to pay for your transportation before you can actually get there. Now, sometimes you feel like you are making the man responsible for taking care of you, but you are way more valuable than transport fare or Uber fare or public. You are way more valuable than that. So as much as possible, get yourself to the date and stop telling the gentleman how he needs to pay for your fare, how he needs to pay for what you're supposed to wear for the date, and how he's supposed to take care of you before you get to the date. Now, what this means to the gentleman is that to please you is very little. I mean, he might pay your transport fare for life, really, but very much that's what he'll keep doing because he feels like, look, a transport fare is enough to put smiles on your face. When you come in as your own person, you come in as somebody who knows who they're about, with your own values, it will take a lot to surprise you. So, ladies, especially when you're going on a first date, avoid insisting on transport fares before you go on a first date. When going on a first date, another thing to avoid doing is dressing, either overdressing or underdressing. Looks are very important, and that's what creates your first impression. When you're going on a first date, be sure to dress appropriately for the event. So, for instance, if you're going to a middle class restaurant, for instance, you don't go in a ball gown, beaded ball gown, just because you want to make a first impression. Likewise, if your first date is a walk on a beach, you don't go in high heels and all manner of things because you want to show him that you're a lady and you know how to dress. Learn how to dress appropriately for the occasion and for where you are going. And please avoid trying to dress to overly attract the other party. Sometimes when you overdo it, we can see right through it. We can see that you are trying to pretend to probably be someone you are not, or it comes off as, no, this person will probably be too expensive to maintain. This person will probably be too material. This person is probably too focused on how they look and what they look like. So it's important to dress appropriately for the first date. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Because know that that is the first impressions that you create. That's the first thing that they see, and you need to leave a lasting impression on the person. It has to be positive, not negative. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Okay, one other thing that you shouldn't do on a first date. People do this a lot, and it goes both ways. Things like funny little things people do on the first date. I think it's because you are conscious of yourself. You want to put your best foot forward, scratching your hair and smelling it after. Putting your hand in your armpits, trying to get a smell to see whether you're smelling okay, not smelling okay, fidgeting all over the place. Now, if you need to get a second check, just excuse yourself. Go to the washroom, go to the bathroom, and do all that. Sometimes you think they don't notice picking your nose whilst you are eating, picking in between your teeth whilst you are eating. These are some of the things that you do, also that you do not do when you're on a first date, because for some people it can be a big eyesore, especially when they don't know you yet. It's important that you get your date to get to know you properly. Get to know your substance, get to know your value, so they do not judge you on some of these things. So if you know you have some of these little habits, biting fingernails, picking things out of your teeth, making that sound. You remember that? Yeah. Scratching your hair and then smelling it, your armpit smelling it, all of those things, they sort of like give negative vibes. So when you're on a first date, avoid that. Now, another thing, for some people, when you're on the first date, you tend to get very shy. So you want to take a little drink, a little alcohol. Now, it's okay. It's okay to have a little alcohol on the first date, but do not get drunk on the first date. Do not get so excited that you lose sight of yourself to get drunk on the first date. Both ways. A man who gets drunk on the first date, that's not a good impression. A woman who gets drunk on the first date, that's certainly not a good impression. So whatever you do, make sure if you have to take alcohol, know your limits, know what you can handle, and never get drunk on your first date. It leaves a very bad impression on you. You might actually feel very shy to go on a second date. Trust me, it is not a good feeling. Now, last but not the least, this might be controversial. Some may disagree with me, but do not have sex on the first date. Why am I saying this? Sometimes when you meet people, they intrigue you so much. You've had a good meal, he's well-mannered, she's well-mannered, and you are so drawn into each other. One thing leads to the other, and the next thing you know, you are being intimate with this other party. Now, what that does is that, especially when the sex goes really well, when everything is as you've ever pictured, as you've ever wanted, it clouds your judgment. Sometimes you fail to learn to know the person you are with. So as much as possible, learn to avoid having sex on the first date. In our part of the world, most men, after having sex with you on the first date, they probably think that you come in too easy. It might be genuine feelings of attraction. And I'm not saying that you should hold him up like a trophy or a prize to win. That's not what I'm saying. But it's important that at least on your first couple of days, allow yourself to know who you're with. Allow yourself to know who you're dealing with before you get into bed with that person. Because both men and women, once the sex is good, trust me, you tend to cloud your judgment. When you need to see these red flags, you present them as green. Why? Because you like them in bed. And that's where you connect the most. So these are simple things you should never do on your first date. Okay, so make sure that on your first date, don't talk about your exes, don't talk about your financial problems. Make sure you pick what you can eat, and please watch your table manners. Be very careful about your table manners. Don't demand transport before you come for a first date. Honestly, that's just so not cool. Don't get drunk on your first date. And make sure that as much as possible, avoid having sex on your first date. Those are my little tips on what not to do on your first date. Yes, using salsarozie. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, and you can get more of this content all the time. Okay. If you do like this, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notification button so that you can get more of this content every week. Thank you. Or every day, whatever. Is it okay? Okay. Salsarozie.